Kakadosh Boker Tov. We're continuing with Siman Resh Lamed Tet, which has to do with Krias Shema Lamita. There's a mitzvah to read Krias Shema Lamita, which means that even though we already read Krias Shema Varvit, even if we did it after Tzedek Kochavim and we were Yotzei Chovah, there is still a mitzvah of reading Krias Shema Lamita. The Gemara Masechet Berachot Tafhe says, Amar Yitzhak, Kol HaKoreh Krias Shema Mitato Ke'ilu Ochez Cherev Shel Shte Piyot Biyado. Person that comes and he says Krias Shema Lamita, he's got a double-edged sword in his hands. Shneimar, but says in the pasuk, Yelezu Chassidim Mechavod, Yeranenu Mishkotam. Ulachar Miken, immediately afterwards, what do we say? Which means that here we're talking about the ones which are singing on their beds, Yeranu Mishkotam, that a person has a double-edged sword. And says Rabbi Yitzchak, Kol HaKoreh Krias Shema Mitato, Mazikim Medalim Mimenu. It takes away the mazikin from a person when he says Krias Shema Lamita, because he brings a pasuk v'nereshev yagiv yo'of v'ne'of el Torah shneimar hataif enecha bo v'enenu v'nereshev mazikin shneimar mizeh ra'av chu mereshev v'ketem minri. Which parashiot exactly do we have to read on Krias Shema Lamita? So the Krias Shema Lamita is going to save us, whether it's going to be from negative energies, from demons, from any other sources. So which ones do we have to do it? So according to Shtab Maran, this is what he brings down here, Meikar Adin, it's already enough, the first parasha of Krias Shema, in order to be Yotzei Chovah. And he says, however, though, only if a person prayed Be'od Yom, and for example, they pray early, and they did not say Krias Shema again later on, so then they would be obligated to do all three parashiot. However, though, he says it's fitting that even if a person did read after Krias Shema, after Tzedek Kochavim, and he was Yotzei Chovah, still he should try to do the three parashiot of Krias Shema, because also in the three parashiot of Krias Shema, remember, we have the Ramach Tevot, the 248 words, and we should actually always try to do it in order that we should watch over the 248 membranes, the organs that we have in our body. Which means, and remember that the way to get to the 248 is that we repeat Hashem Elokechem Emet. Right? That's the way that we do that. And the Ashkenazim, instead of doing that, they do El Melech Ne'eman when they're reading it by themselves beforehand. By the way, just always to remember, I don't know if you realize that even if sometimes we do give children to read the Krias Shema, it's very important, the Hashem Elokechem Emet, that it is not said by a child. The Hashem Elokechem Emet at the end of Krias Shema is always said by the Shaliach Tzibur. And why is it so important to be said by the Shliach Tzibur? Because those three words have to be said by the Shliach Tzibur because he has in mind to be Motzi Acherim Yidei Chovotam, which means that when you are the Shliach Tzibur, right, you have to remember that you're being Motzi other people Yidei Chovah. That's why it's important also that a Shliach Tzibur is always reading, right, from a Sidur. He shouldn't be reading it Bal Peh. He shouldn't be reading it by heart. Right? Many times it happens that, for example, a person could be at a bar mitzvah, at a wedding, at a party, and all of a sudden the Shliach Tzibur comes and he does it by heart. Don't do it by heart. You have to do it from a sidur. The same halacha would apply Birkat Kohanim. Sometimes you come and you'll see that the Kohen will start singing and start doing all these things, and they're not looking in the sidur. Right? It defeats the entire purpose. Just like if you would know it by heart, the Kohanim also know it by heart. Don't worry about it. They've said it more times than you've said it. However, though, the difference is going to be is that in order that, just like the Kohanim, we don't want them to get confused, right? So therefore, we have somebody which is makreh, which means somebody that comes, makriotam, he's going to read it for them. So therefore, the person that's reading it for them should be the one that's reading it from inside the sidur, following place, one word by word, not just saying it by heart. We don't need you to say it by heart. The opposite, we need you to actually read it word by word inside of the sidur. So it's very important. So the same halacha applies to Hashem Elokechem Emet. Hashem Elokechem Emet is actually said by the Shliach Tzibur, and he has in mind that everybody also, even though they are not saying Hashem Elokechem Emet, I am saying it for them, and they are being Yotzei Chovah, these three words from me. So it's very, very important, right, when we are saying this for the Shliach Tzibur. Now, he comes and he says over here, right, because of this, a person has to say, and this is also the Shita of the Arizal HaKadosh, the three parashiot. Because if right now you're right, mitzad halacha, it would have been enough already what? One parasha. But if we already want a protection, and we want a protection over our entire body, and therefore we're saying the Krias Shema, which has 248 words parallel to the 248 organs of the human being. So therefore, we're going to do all three parashiyot of Kriyat Shema ala mita, and that is the shita of the Arizal HaKadosh. So he says, Uldat Rabbeinu Arizal HaKadosh, even if you're only going to go to sleep even before Chatzot, and you already did Kriyat Shema Varvit after Tzet HaKochavim, you still have to do, right, the entire Kriyat Shema even again before Chatzot. Right? However, to do with the Hamapil, we're actually going to bring down later on a machloket, a poskim. What is halacha to do with the bracha of Hamapil? Do you say the bracha with Shem Malchut, with the name of Hashem, right? Even if you're going to go to sleep before Chatzot, or not, or after Chatzot, and so on and so forth. So that Be'ezrat Hashem, we will continue to do with the halachot of the Hamapil. And then afterwards, he just finishes off by saying that after a person said the Kriyat Shema, he's going to say Emet after Ani Hashem Elokechem, and then again he repeats the Hashem Elokechem Emet in order to be mashlim, right, the Ramach Tevot, as we already mentioned beforehand.